just need your help for a sec.
Oh my God, is that the thing that's keeping you alive?
It was. It is now an antique. This is what will be keeping me alive for the foreseeable future. I was swapping it out for an upgraded unit, and I just ran into a little speed bump. There's an exposed wire under this device, and it's contacting the socket wall, and it's causing a little bit of a short. It's... Whoa, fine.
What do you want me to do?
Put that on the table over there. That is irrelevant.
Is it safe?
It's just a game, never mind. Just gently lift the wire. Okay? Great. Okay, now make sure that when you pull it out, you don't pull out there's a magnet at the end of it. That was it. You just pulled out. Okay.
Oh God.
I was not expecting. Don't put it back in.
What
Don't
do
put it back in. We gotta hurry. Take this.
Okay.
We gotta switch it out really quick.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna attach that to the base plate and make sure you... Yow! Was that so hard? That was fun, eh?
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today at EA HQ. Firstly, before we start, that's just a little announcement. We're also nominated yet again for Worst Company in America. It's just, thank you so much. We're also now as hated as Satan. So thank you so much, that's fantastic. So Vincent Pella, thank you so much for coming in from Respawn. You've got some ideas, I'm interested. I want to hear it, tell us.
I'm thinking about making a Star Wars game.
Good, a lot of money, a lot of goodwill that we can destroy. I like it, yes, continue.
Well, I mean, this time I'm thinking maybe just a single-player Star Wars game.
Okay, like, a lot of single-player, microtransactions, red orbs, that kind of stuff. Ah, yes, I like that. Experience that they got to pay for. I love it.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking, like, no loot boxes, and, yeah, no microtransactions this time either.
Maybe you didn't hear me when I said that we are nominated for the Worst Company in America again. How are we going to retain that with ideas like that? You disgust me.
Alrighty.
Hello, everyone. So,
should we take that off, Sam?
I should probably take that off. It actually
should take off your patented EA feedback blinders and feedback shitstorm protector.
Holy shit.
I can
see people now. I can see people, everybody.
That's right.
Guys, we thought, it's a Sunday in Australia today. Okay, we usually have the day off. Okay?
It's the Lord's Day.
It is the Lord's Day. Lord Jesus, that is.
Can't spell Jesus without EA, am I right, guys?
Am I right?
But every religion says there's a soul part. Why would they lie? What would they have to gain?
So what happened last night was that the new Star Wars game, Fallen Order, was officially unveiled to the public at the Star Wars Celebration. This comes the day after the new trailer was released.
Yeah, and also a few days before, we saw some weird t-shirt on Amazon. Everyone's like, oh my God, leaked. But really just showed barely anything.
I was talking, about the Episode 9 trailer.
Oh, I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Fallen Order thing. They showed this random t-shirt.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, excited?
I mean, does anyone really get excited for Star Wars anymore? Like, let's face it.
Can I just say, though, that having looked at the Fallen Order trailer, I am way more excited for Fallen Order
so much better
than I am for Episode 9, because I don't think there's anything you can do with Episode 9 to make it good. But this Star Wars video game actually looks pretty fucking cool.
I swear, I think the last good Star Wars was Rogue One. Like, that was pretty good.
Oh, well, that's a whole other video.
Yeah, that's a whole other video.
So, what do we know about Fallen Order? Okay, so this goes back a little while now. I think this sort of really starts with the whole shitstorm that happened with Star Wars Battlefront 2. So in case you didn't know, EA actually has exclusive rights to the Star Wars license for video games. No one else is allowed to make video games with Star Wars but EA. Great choice, Disney. We love you, Bob Iger. You fucking... Anyway. So they're the only ones that did.
And it's really worked out for them.
It's worked out beautifully. Definitely. We've had Star Wars Battlefront 1... unfinished garbage. Star Wars Battlefront 2, microtransaction-ridden garbage that set off some global catastrophe leading to loot box legislation
and
around the world.
Us.
Leading to the Laymen Gamon.
It really did. Thank you again, Andy.
So, and then after that, no other Star Wars games?
Nothing. Two games that are cancelled. One called Project Ragtag. What was the other one called?
It didn't have a code name, the other one. It probably did, but it was from
Project Evil, everybody.
From EA Motive or whatever that got canned. So they've canned 2 single-player Star Wars games. And famously, when they canned Amy Hennig's Star Wars game called Project Ragtag, which is very much looked like Uncharted with Star Wars, right? the board of EA, they looked at Amy Hennig and her team and they said, look, FIFA makes $1 billion a year with the Ultimate Team product, like their loot boxes basically. Where's your version of that single-player Star Wars game? You know what I mean? Like,
they need Cliffy B, alright? He's the one that delivers billion-dollar IPs, everybody.
true.
He should come out of retirement,
he
man.
really should. I think this is his time to shine.
Go Web! Fly!
$1 billion IP.
So when you have a board asking a question like that,
Just shows how out of touch
it shows
and evil
how
they are.
fucked they are. Like, they are literally just the Sith Council at that point. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
think that the latest trailer really kind of, I think it's got some people excited now, because I think from going from that to this, where, I mean, it looks kind of good.
It looks
really-
actually awesome. Like, in terms of the story, the setup, the world. So the basic premise is that you play as Cal Kestis.
Another white protagonist, white male
protagonist.
protagonist. Oh my god!
With a white male protagonisty name like Cal
Deacon St.
Kestis.
John.
Shut up! You ruined the joke.
Sorry.
Okay? You ruined the joke.
Especially one with such a gruff white male protagonisty name as Deacon St. John.
You play as Cal Kestis. He's a dude. He's living like the life on some planet. And basically, he's like force sensitive. This is set after Revenge of the Sith, by the way. So the Jedi have been wiped out.
Sure.
He's force sensitive. He's trying to keep it on the DL. It's like, no one can know that I'm just like this dude. And I think he might accidentally save someone's life with the Force. And he's like, fuck, now they found out. And now he's got to try and, like, you know, survive.
I didn't even
go
see that
on
in the
his-
trailer. What?
Yeah, there was like the person that like fell, who's falling, is like, oh, I'm going to die. And then he just reaches out and you can assume that he's like... Anyway, the point
I didn't know
is...
that we're doing trailer analytics. You know, those people that just jump to giant conclusions. Well, that's what
right.
Ralph's doing now. Okay.
Anyway, so...
It's
So,
like, oh, Avengers are also in it. Okay, I thought
right.
I saw Thor
Thor's
flying.
hammer.
Okay, it's happening.
So either way, it's a cool setup to think that you're this random dude who's trying to like keep it all quiet, keep it all inside him, but he's really force sensitive, and then he goes through the full journey of becoming a Jedi, gets his lightsaber, whatever else. We know that it's an action game, and they've described the combat as like thoughtful combat, which means it's probably not going to be like a Bayonetta, Devil May Cry sort of like, you know, actiony, crazy game. It's probably going to have that slower combat, you know, similar to God of War or Dark Souls or
well,
those
it's
sorts
very
of things.
ambiguous. So we were just saying off camera, like, we don't even know if it's going to be like Knights of the Old Republic stuff. It could be like
not gonna
thoughtful
be
in
that.
that way.
No.
Well, we don't know.
They would say it's an RPG. They would say,
I mean,
we're making
sure.
a turn-based, you know,
No,
combat
but yeah,
model.
sure. But like, it's very ambiguous. That's all. We don't know what that means.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think it's ambiguous, but Sam thinks it is, so we'll see. Anyway,
Can we
it's
just
good.
go back quickly to the crowd announcement? Remember when they actually announced this game? They're like, I think it was 2017
At
or
E3,
18.
yeah.
And they were like, shit, we've got nothing. We better just go in the crowd just so you're making a game. So, how is the new Star Wars game going? Am I right? The guy looked like he was in a deer in a headlight. He was like, oh, yeah, we're making a game. It's going to be great.
This is Vincent Pella who is doing this.
Yeah, and this is just before Jesse Wellens jumped on and talked about Needs for Speed.
a great moment.
Now what you gotta do is act real smooth and make your move like this.
Say something, give.
So the game is out on November 15th on PC, on Xbox, and PS4, and they've really gone to great lengths to stress that this is a very story-based game. They've sort of said that they've got 6 narrative designers working on the game who do a whole bunch of stuff, but it's their job to make sure the story really sticks in the world design, in gameplay, and obviously the narrative. So there's a lot of elements to that. To have 6 narrative designers working on a game, it's not unheard of, but it really shows that, you know, they're putting a lot of effort on that front.
I mean, look, they did say that narrative was a big emphasis also for Anthem people. We saw how that played out.
That's
so
true. That's very true. So
who knows if there's only like, you know, 6 monkeys in a room or something and they're not actually doing anything.
typewriters.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
It's in the game.
So the other big thing with this is a single-player Star Wars game. Now, that's a really big deal in the context of EA and Star Wars.
Definitely.
Because EA have said famously a while ago that they don't see single-player being a focus for this, like their, you know, their portfolio going forward. Everyone sort of said like, single-player is dead, says EA. You know, it's like a big meme running
and
around.
then Corey Barlog was like, I don't know about that. Just play this game. It's going to get Game of the Year.
Corey Barlog, thinking
And what did I
Sam?
say, Barlog?
$1 billion IP.
So it's a big deal that they're making this single-player game. It's not part of you know, EA's ethos to make single-player games at this point. They've cancelled 2 single-player Star Wars games up to this point.
Yeah.
You've had this board ask Amy Hennig, where's your $1 billion version of that, when they were trying to put together a single-player Star Wars game. So they've really worked pretty hard to get to the point where this could even be possible.
Yeah.
To see it actually happening is pretty exciting.
I think that, when we have seen a train wreck after train wreck with, Star Wars games and games in general, with EA, apart from Apex Legends, maybe they're just like, this could have easily been also a cancelled project, but I think they're just in real damage control, and they need to make sure that they have something that, gives the player something. Because at the moment, if you look at EA for the last 3 years, name one good game that they've put out apart from, Apex Legends. Is there anything at all? Battlefield? Lol?
Battlefield 5.
You know what I mean? There's just been nothing. So this is to even talk about putting microtransactions or anything into this game, I think that it's just a no-go zone based on how bad it's been for so many years.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
If it's been a really good run for them in the last 3 years, we might have seen a single-player game that has microtransactions and loot boxes.
Well,
but they just know they can't do it.
Sam just spoiled this next part of the
Here
story.
we go.
Because there's no microtransactions and no loot boxes in this game. So, no microtransactions at all in a single-player Star Wars game from EA.
It's huge.
That's huge. That's just fucking... And can I just say as well, that's big across the industry. Because right now, if you look at Bethesda, for example, who are about to release Rage 2, that's going to be stuff with microtransactions where you can pay money for cheats if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, that's a pre-order thing, but I know what you're saying. There's definitely incentivized ways to spend money. We saw Devil May Cry with the Red Orbs.
Correct.
We saw Assassin's Creed.
Oh, so many microtransactions in all Ubisoft games, like Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
We're talking about single-player games here, not multiplayer games that are full to bursting with microtransactions because it's about player choice. You can skip the grind. It's well, just don't put the grind. Anyway, we're not going to get into that topic now. But it's a real trend-breaking thing to see a game like this come out and not have microtransactions from EA of all companies.
Yes.
And I say, good job, EA.
I don't know how to feel about this, to be honest.
I know,
Should we be, skeptical? Should we gotta be optimistic? I'm just what's going on here? Are we gonna be in a situation where we need to actually apologize to EA one day because they've done good games? What the hell?
Hello?
Hi, is this?
EA.
Yeah. Who's this?
You probably don't remember me. I kind of gave you a hard time. I did some things that I thought were funny at the time, but now I realize they were just mean and stupid, and just wanted to apologize, and I hope you forgive me.
Yeah, sure. Don't worry about it. It's no problem.
Wow, well, that's great.
So at one point, they actually tweeted out from the official EA Star Wars account, no loot boxes, no microtransactions, just a game for people who want to become a Jedi.
Sure.
Which is a really weird tweet for EA to put out, because it's kind of like... You remember how shit we are? You know how all our games are shit and you hate them and they're all just microtransaction hellscapes?
Yeah.
This one game doesn't have... It's like a cigarette company coming out and being like, we finally made a cigarette that doesn't give you cancer. What about all the other cigarettes? Don't talk about those right now. We made one cigarette with no cancer. Buy that one.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, we don't see... I just don't think we'd ever see CD Projekt Red going, guys, we're bringing out a new game, but don't worry, this one we're not going to have any microtransactions or anything. They're like, good on us.
Good on us,
it's
man.
Like,
we didn't fuck it up this one time.
It's like, when you have to come out and start saying those things, it just shows that people, you got a bad name in the industry, my friend. A bad name.
I think that a lot of this is to do with the big swinging dick of Respawn, right? And this is what I honestly believe. Respawn have such tremendous cred in the core gaming community. Vince Zampella is famously a guy that's pretty outspoken, doesn't take any shit. And I think that they would have said, listen, we're going to make a Star Wars game, we're going to make it for the fans, and we're going to make it so it's going to rebuild your reputation, EA. So let us do our thing, you shut the fuck up, and we're going to make everyone happy while we do it.
Yeah,
they did it with Apex Legends. They released a spectacular game that everybody loved, with a very fair microtransaction model in place. Got a bit lame with the whole season pass thing, but it doesn't really it's not really required. Whatever, you don't need it.
At the same time, people were a bit annoyed that we didn't see the next Titanfall, but at the same time,
sure, absolutely.
But
I don't think anyone now looks at Apex. That was a shitty cash in.
Definitely,
it was a fantastic game, and Respawn nailed it.
Yeah,
and I think it's given them a lot of license to be able to go forward with something like this and say, listen, we're going to make this for the fans, and it's going to be a brand building exercise for EA's portfolio.
And if we look at Bioware, Bioware has been also the one laying the golden eggs for a while. And over the last 5 years or something, it's just been bad game after bad game. It seems like Respawn might be the only last chance now for EA to have something that can rebuild that brand. Because I think that any game that Bioware now that puts out in the future, everyone's gonna be like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm even gonna be pre-ordering this shit. Respawn, however, may still have that goodwill in with the consumer.
By the way, they also said they won't be adding microtransactions in future. So everyone's sort of saying, oh, they're just going to add them later. They specifically said they wouldn't. It wouldn't be the first time a company has said, hey, we won't do this, and then they did do that. Let's be real about that.
Yeah.
But, like, we can, again, I think Respawn have a fair amount of cred. They've got a fair amount of sway internally with EA. That's the feeling I get. So hopefully it's true. It stays true.
Yeah, it's hard though because we don't know if that means that the DLCs are going to be Well, I mean, look, I expect DLCs to.
I expect a season pass.
Yeah.
I expect a season pass.
I think there's going to be ways that they will monetize this. If it is quite successful and they go, cool, we do have 3 or 4 DLCs that can drop, attached to this. There'll be ways that they can monetize it, but it's okay if they monetize it in that way. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like you're getting bang for buck, it's all good if people are paying for DLC. As long as you're paying for something and that's not, like a freaking loot box or some shit like that.
It's very important to remember that when Star Wars Battlefront 2 was first announced at E3, they said famously, no season pass, all maps will be available for free, you'll never have to pay any more. And everyone was like, good guy EA, like you guys are nailing it, you're pro-consumer. And we were actually like, hey, that's really cool.
Yes.
It was only later on when we learned about all the other stuff that we were like, whoa, this is the worst. So, we are optimistic, we are hopeful that Respawn can pull this off, we're hopeful that EA gives them the license to do that. We can't jump to any conclusions. No pre-orders, people.
Yes.
All right, just everyone chill the fuck out. We're excited for it because it looks like a cool game, and it could be great.
It could be the next train wreck that gets us another 100,000 subs. Whoa, baby!
That's right. Could also be that.
But no, we're hoping that it is good because look, any good Star Wars game, it's awesome for the community. So everyone every time a Star Wars game is announced, everyone just wants it to be good. Like that's what we want.
And since there's no good movies being made, we need at least some good games.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the episode. Thank you for watching. We'll see you
next time.